Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is episode 6 of the Texas Hockey Podcast. My name is Trevor Neal. Here's my co-host Travis Tyler. How are you doing this evening, Travis?
Still taking it all in, so I guess that's
still taking
a positive. Yeah.
Yeah, you were in the arena tonight, so the adrenaline is probably piping through your veins at the moment.
Oh yeah, that was probably, like, we talk about that being a crazy environment. That was probably the loudest I've ever heard it.
Oh, I believe it 100%.
Crazy.
Good on TV.
Yeah.
But before we kind of dive into today's game and kind of what happened on the ice, there's some stuff I kind of want to talk about that's a little bit bigger than hockey. As a lot of you probably know, if you're listening to this show, Mark Scheifele, Winnipeg Jets forward, unexpectedly lost his father the night before the game. He learned this morning. Absolutely brutal situation going on around the team, and especially with Scheifele and his family. His father's name was Brad Scheifele. Just our prayers and condolences with the entire family. This is a moment that is truly kind of bigger than the sport. It was really cool to see Stars fans today. I don't know if you kind of followed that story. We're donating to charities that Scheifele was a big supporter of in the Winnipeg area. $55 donations in honor of Scheifele's number. A class act by Stars fans. Mm-hmm. It really showed that, yes, we're playing a heated playoff game tonight that has season-ending implications. But this was a little bit more important for everybody involved. Scheifele did play tonight. I don't know how, to be honest. I have never been in that situation, losing a parent. I couldn't imagine what he went through today, the roller coaster of emotions. But our thoughts and condolences are with the family and the whole Jets organization, as in its entirety. It's been a rough day in that team.
Yeah, that was a very shocking announcement for all of us in the arena. I can't imagine how he's feeling right now. And just, I mean, it's really hard to put into words, honestly.
Yeah, especially unexpected we're not really going to get any details, nor does the public need that information, but it sounds like it was really unexpected. The Jets coach stayed back at the hotel with Scheifele this morning. He learned while in the hotel in Dallas. The GM addressed the media. Assistant coaches ran morning skate this morning, so it was a little thrown together. But like I said, what kind of happened this morning around the Jets is a lot bigger than anything that happened in the game tonight. And there's no easy way to transition into an episode after that. At all. There's no easy way to do it.
I will say there were still fans booing him, which is a little
to non-Stars fans. I want to say this because there's been incidents that we're not going to get into the details to dwell on negatives. Incidents that people have been booed and heckled at Stars games before. I want to say that is very not indicative of what Stars fans are.
No.
Really look at the donations and all that, and the condolences that were sent from Stars fans. We're a very welcoming fan base down here. Don't let the people booing Scheifele overshadow that. That is a very loud minority that is not at all what, as a fan base, we're
It was a very loud booing of that too. So it got some people in the section next to me to ask out loud if they knew what had happened to him. Because
exactly. That's the only. I don't think there's an excuse for booing Scheifele in that situation. I think. I'm not going to say it on air, but I have personal opinions about people who are going to boo a player in that situation. Even though I'm pretty sure everyone listening is going to think the same way, but we're going to keep things friendly on the show. Even if you don't know, like, hey, someone could like bump your shoulder and go, hey, wouldn't do that tonight. It's not the night for that. But to kind of get into the positives, Mark pushed into the game tonight. Mad respect. For him for being able to play tonight, and he played a great game, which we'll kind of get into.
Scored the goal.
Yes, he scored the Jets' one and only goal in their 2-1 overtime loss. The Stars get past the Winnipeg Jets, our third consecutive Western Conference Final appearance, only the 12th time in the expanded playoff, which I believe started in 1980, that a team has made 3 consecutive conference finals. Congratulations, Texas. Your Dallas Stars has joined this exclusive club. And a little congratulations, our podcast made it through its first playoff series. So it's been an absolute fun ride against the Jets, and we got a lot more to go.
Not canceled yet.
Not canceled yet. We're not Firefly. We're still going strong. Yeah. But that's a reference I hope someone gets. But 2-1 overtime win. And what looked to me, and you be a great vouch for this, a very different game than kind of what we've seen the rest of the series. This felt a little bit more open, even though the goals weren't coming tonight. It was a weird game.
Yeah, it felt very aggressive early, that was definitely on the Stars side with the offense. They were getting pucks in the zone. They were getting the offensive zone time, but you looked up at the 3 minutes left in the first period, and the shots were 2-2 with both teams, and it did not feel like a game where it was like that at all. I was like, what the hell is going on here?
Watching the game, and I felt like every single time the shot counter went up, it came back down. I don't know, you don't see that in the arena, but it's like, nope, that one didn't count either. But it didn't feel at all like a
everything
game that
was just going wide or around the net or not making it through to the net. But there were scoring chances like crazy.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of scoring chances. This was usually, I think, in games where a team is facing elimination, the sticks you can be holding them a little bit tight to start the game, and you don't want to be the one to make the first mistake. And neither team really made that first mistake until quite a bit into the game. But both teams came to win tonight, and it was an absolute barn burner of a game to watch. I can't imagine what it was like in the arena. I'm a little jealous, but even on the TV broadcast, I was having a blast watching this game from start to finish.
Mm-hmm. It was ridiculous. Like I said, loudest I've ever heard that place. Got a little quiet after that Scheifele goal, but then once Sam Steele came up with that shot out of nowhere, it put some life back into the place, and you kind of felt at that point that it was a pretty good chance the Stars were going to be able to pull this one out. I felt.
So 5:28 into the second period, Mark Scheifele does score the opening goal. And I was really thinking going into this game, it is vitally important that the Stars scored first tonight. That's the way the series had gone. Whoever scored first won every game 2 through 5. Game 1 was the only one that whoever scored first did not win. But with Scheifele getting the first goal tonight, it felt like hockey people throw the term hockey gods around quite a bit, but that one felt aligned.
It's warranted here. Yeah. That goal felt like they were on Scheifele's side. Winnipeg was supposed to win at that point. It kind of felt like, and somehow
not even just the Jets. I really just think Mark Scheifele deserved to score the first goal tonight. With everything that happened throughout the course of the day. I looked at my dad, who I watch almost every game with, and I'm like, I wanted the Stars to score first, but I've never been less mad about giving up the
first one. Yep.
Yeah. If it's gonna happen, I want it to be Scheifele.
He almost got one in the first period too. Right, that puck slid right across the crease and right through his skates. It was a wide open net if he got the stick on it.
He played an emotionally driven game, and he looked fantastic. I have nothing negative to say about Mark Scheifele whatsoever. And the fact he was on the ice is extremely impressive, let alone was one of the best players tonight. But on that first goal, Petrovic just gets caught puck watching for just a hair of a second too long. Not his best moment of the playoffs so far. But Scheifele just gets around him and puts it around Ottinger. Nothing Otter can do there. He ended up having an absolutely fantastic game, which we're going to talk about more as the show goes on. But the Jets come out early, and I wanted to ask, did you feel the energy in the building die the way that you kind of would expect from a goal like that?
Yeah. That like I said, Sam Steele put the energy back into the arena a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
People were very frustrated with the lack of penalty calls early.
Yes,
there was a lot of frustration going through
anything
there, and everything. Like even at the first intermission in the press box, we were just having conversations with other writers and reporters. It was like, okay, first goal in this game wins the game, right? And so when Winnipeg got that goal, it felt like, oh crap, we're not going to be able to get anything else going. They've just seized all momentum. And then, like we've seen them somehow do over and over again, the Stars punched back and brought it back and brought life back into that arena.
We talked going into this ever important Game 6 that this one, and the media was making a huge deal about it yesterday and through the morning media scrums, that was today really a Game 7 for the Stars. Because neither of us were confident about a Game 7 in Winnipeg with how the Jets have played there, especially Connor Hellebuyck. So tonight, I know DeBoer it was really funny the way he just go, no, tonight it's Game 6. Was a really funny quote, but I don't think the media was too far off, and this really felt like you need to win tonight kind of.
Yeah. I felt like ever since the loss on Thursday, Game 6 was a must-win. You had to close that out at home. Otherwise, you're going back on the road to a place that's not easy to win in.
No.
Where Hellebuyck, even though he's had his struggles in the playoffs, has been great at home.
He's been good in one building.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Not so good in the other two. And you drop a couple in a row and give them a chance to close out the series at home. They're going to be extra motivated, have extra energy. It's going to feel like, the sky's falling basically. And you're going to have all the odds stacked against you going into that seventh game. And even the emotional roller coaster of back-to-back 7-game series is a lot to take.
Yeah. And this was another game, and we kind of had a game like this earlier in the series in which a player that you would not expect to step up in a moment like this, Petrovic, grabbed the weird goal earlier in the series, and tonight it was Sam Steele getting his first goal of the playoffs. Couldn't have possibly come at a better time. Just 6 minutes after the Scheifele goal, Thomas Harley it's almost like good things happen when you put the puck on the net. Gets a really fortunate rebound, pops right out to Sam Steele's stick, and that was a goal that you could hear outside of the building. That thing bar and in. Sam put that puck in angrily, and I did a double take at the player's number when he scored that, because that is not a Sam Steele-esque goal. That is a goal scorer's goal.
Yeah.
And
he's a dirty goal scorer usually. He's usually getting into the crease and getting all those scrappy pucks and everything.
You don't hear Sam Steele goals. You heard tonight's goal. You heard bar.
You don't see snipe right over the glove.
No,
from Sam Steele. That was impressive. He was fantastic tonight.
It kind of goes off a knee and in. I don't want that to take any credit away from Sam. That's just instinct took over. There was no thought. It was net.
Puck net, and that's the strategy that they've had.
Good things happen.
Series, and they executed it for once. Yeah,
it's the first thing you learn is just, hey, sometimes when the puck isn't going in perfectly for you, stop being cute. And that was something that we were talking about after the first period, is they're respecting Hellebuyck too much.
Shoot the damn puck.
Shoot the damn puck. And look what happens when you start shooting the damn puck is you get a really fortunate rebound, and Sam Steele I'm going to say it again. Sam Steele is the guy who stepped up and tied the game tonight. And we get into the third period, and again, it's not what I'm expecting from this game, where the Stars are just. It was reminding me of the old John Boyce tweet where it's like, why would I do cocaine when I can watch playoff hockey? Where it's just the most intense third period I think we've seen other than Game 7. It felt like that, where just opportunity after opportunity would come.
Yeah, and I mean, you could feel that in the arena too. I mean, everybody was standing for most of the third period.
Yeah, it was
crazy.
Fun.
Yeah, it was.
It was so fun.
It was a lot of fun. And it felt like before that Sam Steele goal, Winnipeg had taken over the game, and then it flipped. I know I've said this a couple times. It flipped there, and then it continued into the third period and into that overtime. Because the Stars were able to just take over. I don't know much.
Yeah, it kind of in that sequence, Winnipeg got an opportunity that probably should have won this game in the third period. But Jake Ottinger has one of his
saving save. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I don't like the Stars odds if that puck goes in. To kind of break it down, I'm forgetting. I apologize. It's long nights with these games. I'm forgetting the players that kind of had this tic-tac-toe play. Ottinger, I've never seen a player look so comfortable in net in a situation like that, where Otter just kind of kept his feet planted and followed the whole thing through. But then the puck gets all the way across to a wide open Jets forward, and Ottinger is on the wrong side of the net, I think would be a fair way to describe it. So he Superman dives across, dropping his stick in the process. The puck, I believe, kind of got the knob of his stick and then kind of came into his hands. In a tie game in the third period, absolutely insane save by Ottinger. And that's the reason that we're talking about this game in such a positive light.
Yeah. First off, the place exploded with that one. That was absolutely.
It was the coolest thing.
Unreal. It was Mason Appleton who took the shot.
Thank you. Yeah. Can we talk about that? He missed that shot pretty badly. It was not a good shot.
Yeah, but
it was not a good shot.
Are you expecting goals from Mason Appleton?
No, that's checking line. That's not their job. That's not their job.
Yeah.
But even for the shot, it wasn't perfectly placed. He didn't get all of it. What a save. Just the poise, the calmness, and then somehow making a desperation save as calm as he is. I jumped out of my seat, hands on my head. Oh my God. That didn't go in is what it felt like. It was so cool.
Yeah, cool. He told us post game that he lost the edge on his skate and just threw his body where he thought the puck was. So
I love where he thought the puck was. Thanks, Jake. That's real reassuring. But he has,
or maybe he saw the puck. Yeah, I mean, you get the gist. He threw himself across the crease because he needed to.
Yeah, he has had himself a Jake Ottinger playoff series in which the team played really well throughout this series. Some low points when they were low, Jake was there. I don't think we saw bad Jake Ottinger at all throughout this series. I love his mindset that he's in right now, where it's my number one goal is Stanley Cup. My number two goal is starting for Team USA. And I just love that quote, Jake. I can't wait for a Jets game next season where Dallas is chanting USA backup. I can't wait because Ottinger made the case that he might be in the starters net for the U.S. come the Olympics in 2026.
Long way to go, but
long way to go. But the conversation wasn't there 2 weeks ago.
True,
it wasn't, and it very much is now. One of the best goalies in the world, and it's hard to take that away from him.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of mentioned it before, and it's something that we've been ragging the Stars on since really the beginning of the playoffs. The Stars did not take a penalty.
Yeah.
Or the Stars did not have a penalty called against them.
That's a better way
to put it.
Better way to put it. Yes. There were more missed calls on the Winnipeg side, as in Winnipeg should have been called for a lot more penalties than they were.
Mm-hmm.
But they missed calls all over the place, and we're just letting everybody play. And that's kind of the way you want one of these deciding games. You want the players to decide the game, not the officials.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get back to that at the end of the game. But was the officiating the best tonight? No. Would I have definitely called some that didn't? Yeah. But at least it was standard. Everyone kind of knew how this game was being called.
It was consistent. It was called the same way both ways.
And that's honestly all we ask for. If you're going to call it tight, call it tight. The players need to know what they can do, and what they learned tonight is anything. They can do whatever they want, and the ref is going to turn the other direction. That was the ref's arm is tired type of game, and I'm just going to keep it by my side tonight. Not a single penalty until 18 seconds or 12 seconds range. Sam Steele, again, breakaway in the last 15-ish seconds of the game. Mark Scheifele trips, and where the question that I'm going to ask you.
I got a few penalty shot. So go ahead. Yeah,
that's penalty shot.
That's where I was. Okay, so live, yes, it definitely felt like it should have been a penalty shot. I haven't rewatched it or anything since then, so I'm going to stick with it. It should have been a penalty shot. Now, you said this right after it happened, and I agreed and even tweeted it out. The NHL was never going to let this series end on a penalty shot.
Yeah.
There's no way that was ever going to happen.
Yeah. So, I actually have the rule. Let me make sure I have the exact right one up. Yes, Sam Nestler, Stars reporter. I want to shout him out. Posted the official rule rather quickly. Yes. This is how it's worded, and I really want to go slow here. When a player in the neutral or attacking zone in control of the puck and having no other opponent to pass than the goalkeeper is stripped or otherwise fouled from behind, thus preventing a reasonable scoring opportunity, a penalty shot should be awarded.
It's a penalty shot then.
No, I read that rule, and I'm looking at the TV, and I'm like, okay, so that rule is what happened on the screen. Exactly. The only thing that I think would prevent it from being a penalty shot in my eyes is the other defenseman was a little beside Steele. I don't think that should affect it personally. I think he had a clear and unbroken path to the net. That's how the rule's always been explained to me in the past is the foul from behind, and is there a clear and unbroken path to the net with a scoring opportunity? And I think that's all meant with this.
I think you're right. Like, it might not fit like with what you're saying about the positioning of the other defenseman. It might not fit the letter of the law to a T, but it absolutely fits the intent of what the rule is trying to address.
I feel like I don't like this term at all because I think it's used as an excuse. In the spirit of the rule, it is, does this player have a breakaway opportunity? Are they fouled from behind? There is a penalty shot. And I was really trying to avoid
using that term too. Yes.
It's such a bad term, but it makes sense here, I think.
Yeah.
Because penalty shot is the spirit of the rule. It's thrown when refs go, yeah, that should be a penalty shot, and no other times. It's such a rare occurrence in the NHL. And I really think the reason that it did not get called is because the referee did not call a penalty all night. And it's like, I'm not giving Dallas a penalty shot. That an overtime penalty shot, essentially. There's only a few seconds left on the clock. I don't want to see a game end like that.
Yeah, I didn't either. But honestly, if it's not as obvious as it was, I don't think they call it. I think they had to call it because of how obvious.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is that we should just be thankful we got a power play out of it, because with the way this game was going, if that play happens 5 minutes ago, the refs may have gone, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But the play was egregious. It needed to be called.
But on that point with the power play, did the Stars really get kind of a break with the power play? Because you look at the roster, and no offense to Sam Steele, but he's pretty far down on the list of guys that I want going one-on-one with the goalie. Yeah,
he's not a breakaway guy. Not a breakaway guy at all. Robertson, I would like to be in that situation. Right. He seems to be their one-on-one guy. But the one thing that I hated about this, and as soon as I realized exactly what had happened, there was my heart sunk a little bit. It was Scheifele who took the penalty.
Yeah.
And you could see him look dejected, even in the box after the goal went in, eventually in overtime. That was hard to watch, especially everything that happened.
He didn't have much of a choice, honestly.
No, it was actually a good penalty.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that it wasn't a penalty shot. Steele was probably going to score there. I had the feeling that he was going to get it, at least a very good chance at it. It's not a bad penalty to take. The timing of it sucks, but these Stars get a little bit of power play time to end the third. Not enough to nothing really happened. I think it was less than 15 seconds. But they go into overtime in Game 6 with an opportunity to close out the series on home ice on the power play. What a cool moment. I saw the Jumbotron having breathing exercises. I wish they had that on the TV in my house, because I did I'm going to pace the entire intermission, because we're fans too. We get just as excited for these kind of moments.
I think it helped having the 20-minute break in between too. You get ready.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Everybody breathe. It's okay. It's okay.
I meant for the power play. But
for the power play? I want to talk about that, because I hate this is my least favorite thing.
I agree with the point I know you're about to make. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, I think that rest really, really helps get you back set and everything.
Yeah, especially with how intense that last 10-ish minutes was. It may have actually been super helpful. It's just, guys, we're a good power play unit. Let's take a few minutes, breathe.
He thought it was helpful too. He mentioned having the fresh sheet of ice was very helpful for the power play.
Yeah. So, but the thing that I'm going to bring up, and I know that I'm glad you agree with me, since I feel like I'm yelling at the sky with this take. I think that if a penalty is interrupted by intermission, the next period should start in the offensive zone.
I don't know if I necessarily totally agree with you. I was just saying I see your argument. I get the point.
Yes.
I just know where you're coming from. Yeah.
It feels like punishment to me, because I think Winnipeg gets a break, because Dallas might, let's say there's 3 seconds left on the period when the penalty happens. You're not going to do anything in those 3 seconds. And then it's going to take you a little bit to get into the zone and set up from a center ice faceoff. The Jets could potentially kill like a third of the power play before having to play in the defensive zone at all. The NHL will never change that rule. I've been yelling at the wind about this since I was in high school, about how much I hate this. And it's just the most infuriating thing, because it happens to my team.
Yeah.
I
will say it's probably a little more difficult to keep that pressure in an offensive end, even if you do win the faceoff with fewer guys on offense when you're shorthanded. Yeah. So, I mean, that it's just the way, the way they can argue a counter explanation to what you're trying to do. But,
the Stars come out for this power play of the third. It was like, this is do or die. This is playoff overtime hockey. This is what we watch this sport for, is moments like this. And the Stars had a pretty mediocre power play through about 90% of it. It was just kind of bland, in my opinion. Not much happened. And Taylor texted our group chat during intermission, if they don't score here, do the Jets win?
And we didn't have to find that out.
We didn't have to find out, thankfully. We didn't have to find out. But, yeah, that power play meant a lot because if the Jets kill it, that could be a huge momentum swing the other way. Especially when the Stars had a lot of the momentum. But like you said, we did not have to find out. Just before the power play ends, it had to be Harley. It felt right for it to be Thomas Harley. Again, the Stars have had a good handful of goals where I swear they are just angry at the puck. And he brute forced that into the net.
Yeah.
Oh, just...
There was a nice little window for it, too.
Yes. Sagan, there's kind of a battle for the puck towards the corner. Comes to Sagan, feeds that out into Thomas Harley, who could have stopped and checked his email before shooting the puck. He had all of the time in the world. It looked like the Jets thought it was 4-on-4. It doesn't even catch the pass. Just claps it. Top left, and that is the series. That is the end of the Jets season, and what a fun finish it was.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I posted videos on Twitter of the reaction. It was very ridiculous. Might not be the right word, but it's the word that comes to mind. Very great, very ridiculous in a good way. Scene. Just absolutely. I'm still processing what went down and how that all happened and everything. I mean, it was
mind blowing. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Now I gotta ask. There's kind of like that unwritten rule in press box situations in which no one react and no one make any noise and the overtime winner. Everyone close your laptops. We're done. Work is done. Was it hard to keep the emotions contained, or did they come out a little bit on the OT winner?
I mean, I'm used to it.
You're stone faced.
Maybe not quite stone faced, but I'm used to it. And I was in the auxiliary press box, so there's less people.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're more with the people, so you got a free pass on that.
I let the fans do what they want. And just
I didn't in my living room. I did not
kind of take it in while you're watching in your living room. Yeah.
So I did the jump and yell for us both.
I did not see any of the reaction from the big press box, so I don't know what was going on in that.
They won't.
I don't know if anybody violated the rule. Who knows?
Yeah. I would have had trouble.
It's funny that you mentioned that because some of the publications that I wrote for like last football season and stuff were like really harping on it. Like, no, you absolutely cannot. They will throw you out. It was.
You won't get. I don't think you'll get thrown out, but you'll get.
It depends on who it is. It depends on who it is.
Yeah, but the building celebrated for everybody else. That was one of the loudest pops the American Airlines Center has probably ever had. Just such a special moment, end of the series.
I'm surprised it wasn't shaking because I can remember the press box shaking during that Vegas first round series last year. So
awesome. Yeah. It's such a fun way. All the respect to the Winnipeg Jets. They played an absolutely amazing series. That is a talented hockey team that unfortunately just ran into a team that feels like it has some magic right now. The Jets, don't feel down on yourselves for this one. And if any Jets fans are listening, all the respect to you guys and that team. This was a fun battle we had. There was no real bad blood. There were a lot of punches thrown on the ice, and there was some nasty plays, but nothing but respect from these two teams. And it was a blast through these last week and a half or so. But the Stars move on again. It feels like we're so far away from the real stuff still. It's like this is routine for us. 2 rounds of hockey is just another season.
Yeah,
but we
It is.
We buy our ticket to go play the Oilers now, which is going to be, if you thought the playoffs were high action beforehand, you don't remember the Oilers of last year. This is going to be a fun series, and I'm excited.
And according to Pete DeBoer, they're better. That's what he was saying. I didn't think that myself, but I will let the guy who is professionally coaching this team to this point make the argument and make the analysis, and I will trust what he says.
Yeah, it's a team that has its faults for sure, and the faults that I've criticized throughout the playoffs is the play of goaltending. Well, I jinxed that a little bit, and they finished their series against Vegas with 2 shutouts. So, there's 5 teams in the playoffs right now, and the Oilers are the last one I want to see. By far, I don't want this series if you're the Stars, but it's going to be a really fun series. We plan on kind of doing a more in-depth conference final preview in the next few days that you'll see come up. Did we have any more notes on that fun Stars game? It feels like I don't want to just keep rambling about how fun it was. It's just such a blast tonight.
It was a great one tonight. Obviously happy for the team and getting back to this point. I will say about that Edmonton series, I think I've said this on an episode earlier in this series. It felt like the Stars kind of overlooked Edmonton going into that series last year. Cannot do that this year.
No, this is the Stars will have to view Edmonton as the best team in the league. And I really do think you have, because Edmonton can be. They have the potential to be every night.
It also sounded like they kind of do view them that way.
Good. They have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Look at this. You're playing against Connor McDavid, and he's superhuman. If they want to leave him on the ice for 60 minutes, they might. It's going to feel like he's on the ice for 60 minutes.
He's quadruple shifting, yes.
Yes, yeah, he is going to make your life miserable. There's nothing you could do to avoid it. It is just suppressing how hard he's making your series. But we're really looking forward to that. We're kind of going to leave. Tonight's our celebratory night. We'll really dive in depth into the Oilers. Maybe we'll look at their rosters, compare, kind of look at some numbers. But I want to jump over to the East a little bit because I was wrong. I was so very wrong about what was going to happen in the East. Toronto won in Florida. Were you expecting that?
I think I wasn't.
No, I don't think anybody was.
I'm pretty sure we gave a prediction on the show, honestly.
Yeah. It not only did Toronto win, which if you follow the Leafs script, they always get to 7. So there's a part of me that was like, they should lose, but it's the Leafs, so they're going to win and get it to 7. They played a perfect game. Their most complete game of the playoffs so far. They limited Florida to 3 shots from the slot that entire game.
Probably going to win a lot of those games.
It's hard to lose when you're giving that. Joseph Wall coming up with a shutout in the most important game of his life. Austin Matthews scoring the first goal past the first round of his entire career is the game winner. Yes, this is funny. I don't know if you saw this stat, but as a Leaf fan, it was ringing out before the game. There are 110 players that have scored 400 goals in the National Hockey League. Going into that game, Austin Matthews was the only one of them to not score after the first round of the NHL playoffs. And he finally gets his – that is just the most Leaf stat.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It is awful.
As soon as you said that, my brain went, hello, Toronto.
It's so Leafs. Yeah, it's so fun to make fun of them. We're going to get a Game 7 Sunday night, 6:30 Central, 7:30 local. I've seen a lot of Leaf Game 7s. Paul Maurice has never lost a Game 7. I learned he's actually good friends with Pete DeBoer. Combined, they are 14-0 in Game 7s. The Panthers have never lost a Game 7 in their franchise history. The Leafs sure have. So
yeah, I was just about to say, how many does Florida really have, though? I mean, they were so bad.
Not as many. No. Yeah, not a lot of playoff appearances, but the Paul Maurice being 5-0 definitely means something. That's one of the top coaches in the entire league. I forget where I saw this line, but players win games, but coaches win players. And Paul Maurice is that to a T.
I'm pretty sure he said that during the Stanley Cup last year.
Yeah.
Almost positive,
Yeah. So that'll be a really fun game to watch. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared. As a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm hoping that we see Toronto and Dallas in the Stanley Cup final. So Trevor's happy no matter what.
I mean, this is the part where it's good to me that my team is no longer in the postseason. Didn't even make the
postseason. And very much not in the postseason. For the people that are going to stick around with us for the regular season, expect us going back and forth after Toronto-Detroit games. That's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, and there'll be a lot of them. Don't worry. But a 2-0 Leafs win in a game that I think they desperately needed. A lot of criticism came to Mitch Marner, me included, saying that was definitely his last game in Toronto as a Leaf. And a lot of criticism going towards him, a lot of criticism towards Matthews for just being bad in these types of moments. They connect on a late third period. I wouldn't say late, but a third period goal to take the lead. And then Max Pacioretty, wild that he's a Leaf. Just wild.
Yeah. I honestly didn't even know that until the last game or the game before that. Game 5.
He has 3 or 4 goals in these playoffs, and every single one of them has been huge. Like he had one in the first 20 seconds of a game. He had the goal to beat the Senators after they tied it late. It was Pacioretty who scored right after to take the lead that ended up eliminating them. And then he gets the icing on the cake goal last night to make it 2-0. So we will see the Leafs again because that's how the world works. The Leafs will be playing in Game 7 tomorrow night. Will be tonight by the time you're listening to this against the Florida Panthers.
It is tonight already, technically.
Oh, already. We've already passed midnight. That's crazy. Yeah. So I think I know where you're going to sit. Who's winning that one?
I mean, I can't mentally go with Toronto in that. It's just
hard to.
It's I know too much. I've seen like I was saying, like we were both saying before Game 6. We've seen this movie before. We know how it ends.
Yes, it ends and so the way that if you're unfamiliar with how the Leafs work, they do this every year in which that they're going to get to Game 7 and then they've never once played well in Game 7. It's always just the worst performance you've ever seen. And it's not like the way that we would talk about the Stars when they have a bad game and it's like, just things didn't go their way tonight. It would be like if we watched the game tonight and we went, man, I don't think Mikko Rantanen knew he was playing tonight. That's what being a Leafs is.
Yeah. I mean, how many third period goals did Boston have in that one?
Which one? Which one?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what year it was. I just remember watching the collapse.
There's so many. 13, 7, or 18, 19. You could even say last year. Took a lead in the third period against Boston and blew it again. We do it every year. So you're picking Florida.
It's also very hard to go against the defending champs.
That is another thing. Florida is the. I really want to call them the best team they've ever played in the playoffs. Like this is such a good Florida team, and Travis, I'm going to sound really stupid here. We'll mention this next episode. I think the Leafs are taking this. There's some calmness about them after Game 6. And I think that Craig Berube coaching in a Game 7 is extremely different than Sheldon Keefe coaching in Game 7. It's different. The mindset's different. And now there's the added pressure of Mitch Marner probably does not have a job in Toronto after this game if he loses. Probably doesn't if he wins next season. I think this is the year they finally win a Game 7. I do. Now I'm gonna about 10 minutes into the game.
So, but I'm not confident in it at all.
Oh, I give you full permission to make fun of me Monday night when we record if this goes the opposite way of what I'm hoping. But I
need to find a Panthers jersey very quickly.
Yes. Find a Panthers jersey. It feels like it's time, and I say that every year though. But
I mean, that makes you a fan.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. You described it perfectly. But if they play the way they did in Game 6, they're going to win. It's as simple as that. If they do what they tend to do in these moments, they will lose. But they proved last night that they are more than capable of just going, we're done here. We're playing Carolina. They're talented enough to do that, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So someone should check on me during the game tomorrow because I will be stressed. I get to truly watch those games as a fan. But our final four will be the winner of Toronto, Florida. We'll be taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. And in the West, we have Edmonton Oilers taking on our Dallas Stars. It's looking like it's going to be a great Final Four.
Yeah, you got it 75% right too on your prediction so far. From I mean, 50% of that was set when you said it, but it's still more than half right.
Yeah, we got it's looking like the Eastern Conference Final is going to start Tuesday night. The Dallas Stars are scheduled to play Wednesday night. That game is in Dallas.
Yes, 7 p.m. Central in Dallas on Wednesday.
Dallas has home ice. Yes. That home ice, and I love this peak
the board. I think you said
this when they played Vegas last year in the first round. You play well in the regular season to ensure that Game 7s are at home.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get that against Winnipeg. We ended up tonight was basically a Game 7.
Yeah.
But having those extra home games against the Oilers is make or break. So we can take solace in that.
Game 1 against Winnipeg was kind of a Game 7 because you stole it on home ice.
Yeah.
You can make that argument there. You were going to have to go back
there
if it went to 7. It didn't end up going to 7 because you stole that game on home ice.
Yeah. That's perfect argument. We didn't have to go to 7 because we stole one. But we're really looking forward to that. But I think that might kind of wrap us up for tonight. We're really excited. The Stars have won. The Stars have won another playoff series. This is the fun thing about getting to cover the Dallas Stars is you cover so many hockey games when you're working with the Stars because we are a very good, very talented hockey team. But that's going to kind of wrap us up tonight. Thank you all very much for watching. We will see you ahead of the Western Conference Final, and go Stars.